In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 5 chords for neosoul that I can't live without. Let's take a listen to an example where I use all of them and then jump into the lesson. How's it going? I'm Dave and I'm here to help you make awesome sounds on the guitar. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 really awesome neosoul guitar chords. I really think these chords are essential for neosoul playing and I use them all the time. So the first 3 chords I'm going to show you are going to be diatonic chords. They fit into your key, they sound very nice. And then the last 2 chords I'm going to show you are going to be non-diatonic chords that you can use to spice up your progression a little bit and add a bit of a jazzy element to your chord progressions. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to use all of the chords together in one big chord progression. So stick around for that. Let's get straight into the lesson. So the first chord is the major 9 chord. Any kind of 9 chord is really important for neosoul. It just has that sort of feel to it. So the major 9, we're going to play a C major 9, okay? So here's the first voicing of the C major 9. We're going to use our middle finger to play the 8th fret of the low E string. 7th fret of the A string with our index finger. And we're going to bar that all the way down to the G string. We're going to use our little finger to play the 9th fret of the D string. And again, we're barring the 7th fret with our index finger of the G string. We're just playing those 4 strings. Cool. So for the root on the A string, we're going to be playing 3 on the A string with our middle finger, 2 on the D string with our index finger, little finger on the 4th fret of the G string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then for the root note on the D string, we're going to be playing 10 with our middle finger on the D string, 9 on the G string with our index finger, 12 with our little finger on the B string, and then 10 on the high E string with our ring finger. So we've got these. Took me a second to get there for that last one. So you can use this chord as chord 1 or chord 4 in your key. So if we're playing in the key of C, chord 1 is C, so you could play a C major 9. And chord 4 is F, so you could play an F major 9 chord. So let's move on to chord number 2 now. And chord number 2 is the minor 9 chord. So let's take a look at how to play the minor 9 chord. We're going to stick with the root note of C. So we're going to play a C minor 9, ring finger on the 8th fret of the low E string, index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, little finger on the 8th fret of the D string, and middle finger on the 7th fret of the G string. Very nice sounding chord there. Then if we wanted to move to the A string, we're going to play 3 on the A string with our middle finger. Then we're going to play 1st fret of the D string with our index finger, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the G string, and little finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then for the root note on the D string, we're going to play 10 with our middle finger on the D string, 8 of the G string with our index finger. Little finger is going to play the 11th fret of the B string, and ring finger is going to play the 10th fret of the high E string. Now this is one of my absolute favourite chords. I think it sounds absolutely lovely. You can use it for chord 2 or chord 6 in your key. So in the key of C, we could either use it as chord number 2, which is D, so D minor 9, or we could use it as chord number 6, which is A minor, so A minor 9. Now there's one other voicing that I really, really like to use for the minor 9 chord, and that's this. Okay, so if we're playing a C minor 9, what I'm actually doing is I'm playing a minor 9 bar chord, which looks like this, 8, 10, 8, 8, 8, 10. But I'm just taking away the first 2 notes, the lowest 2 notes, the root and the 5th, as to not muddy the chord up too much. And I get this cool voicing, which you've probably heard before. So we're just barring the 8th fret on the top 4 strings and placing our ring finger on the 10th fret of the high E string. Okay, so chord number 3 is the dominant 11 chord. So let's take a look at how to play the dominant 11th chord. So we're going to play a C11 chord, so we can abbreviate dominant 11 to just 11. That's why I just said 11. So C11 looks like this. So what we're doing is playing ring finger on the 8th fret of the low E string. We're skipping the A string, but we've got to try and mute it so it doesn't ring out. So use your ring finger to mute it. Then little finger goes on the 8th fret as well of the D string. Middle finger goes on the 7th fret of the G string, and index finger goes on the 6th fret of the B string. And to play a C11 with the root note on the A string, we're going to play 3 on the A string with our middle finger. Little finger and ring finger go on the 3rd fret of the G and B strings, and an index finger goes on the top E string at the 1st fret. And of course we're skipping the D string as well, so having to mute that with our middle finger. Now you can use the 11 chord for chord number 5 in your key. So if we're in the key of C, chord 5 is G, so we could play a G11. Okay. Now this particular chord serves the purpose of adding a little bit of tension before resolving back to the home of our key, so C. So it sounds really nice to kind of be the last chord in a progression before you resolve to C. Alright. Cool, so those are our diatonic chords. So now let's take a look at some more spicy sounding chords. So the first one I've got for you is the diminished 7th chord. Now the diminished 7th chord is played like this. We're going to play 8 on the low E string with our middle finger. We're going to play a C diminished 7th chord here. So middle finger on the 8th fret of the low E, little finger on the 9th fret of the A string, index finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and ring finger on the 8th fret of the G string. Very dissonant sounding chord, but you'll hear why it works in a minute. Okay, so that's how we play it with the root on the low E string. Then for the root on the A string, we want to play middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and little finger on the 4th fret of the B string. Now for the root on the D string, we're going to play 10 with our index finger on the D string, ring finger on the 11th fret of the G string, middle finger on the 10th fret of the B string, so we're kind of like making like a D chord shape, and then little finger goes on the 11th fret of the high E string. So where could we use these chords? So anytime that you have 2 chords in a progression that are a tone apart, you can place the diminished chord in between those 2 chords. So for example, if we're playing C major 1 and then 2 D minor, okay? C and D are a tone apart, so they're 2 frets apart. What's in between C and D? We've got C sharp. So we can play a C sharp diminished 7th before the D minor, or in between these 2 chords, and you get a really nice passing chord. So let's have a listen to that. Now in the key of C, D minor and E minor are a tone apart, so you could do in between D and E minor. That's pretty cool. Now we've also got F and G in the key of C, which are a tone apart. So let's put a diminished 7th chord in between those. G and A minor are a tone apart as well, so let's put a diminished chord in between those. Now A minor and B diminished are a tone apart. Those are chords 6 and 7 in our key. But putting a diminished chord before another diminished chord sounds a bit iffy. I don't typically do it. Let's take a listen. You can judge for yourself. Not the best sound in the world. As you heard, it works in between chords 1 and 2, chords 2 and 3, chords 4 and 5, and chords 5 and 6 in your key. Right, now let's take a look at the final chord, and the final chord is the dominant 7 sharp 5 chord. So let's take a look at how to play the dominant 7 sharp 5 chord. We're going to play a C7 sharp 5. So we're playing index finger on the 8th fret of the low E string. We're going to skip the A string again. Then we're going to play middle finger on the 8th fret of the D string, ring finger on the 9th fret of the G string, and little finger on the 9th fret of the B string. There we go, we've got another jazzy sounding chord there. And then we're going to play with the root note on the A string. So 3 on the A string with our index finger. We're going to skip the D string. Yeah, make sure we're muting that D string. And then we're going to play the 3rd fret of the G string with our middle finger. Little finger goes on the 5th fret of the B string. And then ring finger goes on the 4th fret of the high E string. As you can hear, it's a very peculiar kind of sound, but it's really awesome. As I said, we can use that dominant 11th chord, chord 3 in this video, as the 5 chord in our key. We can also use the dominant 7 sharp 5 as the 5 chord in our key. So in the key of C, G 7 sharp 5 would be where we would use the 7 sharp 5 chord. Okay, and that's just even more tense than your dominant 11 chord. Going into C, yeah. So it really just depends on how much tension you want to add into your chord progression. Now the dominant 7 sharp 5 belongs to a family of chords called altered dominant chords. Now altered dominant chords are dominant chords, but they have an altered 5th, either a sharp 5th or a flat 5th. Just dropped my pick, fantastic. Or they could have an altered 9th, so they could have a flat 9 or a sharp 9. I'm not gonna go into all the different types of altered chords you can do because I've done a video on altered chords that you can check out. So if you're interested in adding that jazzy flair to your playing, then definitely watch that video. So those are the 5 chords. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna show you how to put them all together into a chord progression now. So there are 3 different types of chords in a particular key. We know we've got 7 chords in a key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. But they do fall into one of 3 categories. We've got the tonic chords, we've got the predominant chords, or subdominant chords they're often called, and you've got dominant chords as well. So what we want to do is we want to move from a tonic chord to a subdominant chord, which adds a little bit of tension to our chord progression, to the dominant chord, which adds even more tension to our chord progression, and then resolve it by finishing back on the tonic chord. So tonic chords are chords 1, 3, and 6 in our key. So in the key of C, they would be C, E minor, and A minor. The subdominant or predominant chords are chords 2 and 4. You could have in the key of C, D minor or F major. And the dominant chords are chords 5 and 7 in your key. So in the key of C, we'd have G major or G7 and B diminished. Now, before I create a chord progression using this structure, you don't have to create chord progressions using this structure. This is just a kind of classic example of harmony that is very popular to use. Chord 1 is our tonic chord, C. So we're going to use C as the tonic chord. Now, remember I said we could use that major 9 chord as chord 1 or 4. So we're going to use the major 9 as chord number 1. So we're going to use C major 9. Okay. Then we've got to move to our predominant chord. We could either use chord 2 or we could use chord 4. Now I'm going to use chord 2, which is D minor. And remember I said for D minor or chord 2 in our key, we could use that minor 9 chord. At the moment, I've got C major 9, D minor 9. Then we have to move to a dominant chord. So I'm going to use chord number 5. And remember, I said we could use the dominant 11 chord as chord number 5. So, chord number 5 is G. I'm going to use a G11. So now we've got C major 9, D minor 9, G11, and then we'll resolve back to the C major 9. I don't know if you've noticed, we've made a 1, 2, 5, 1, which is a very popular chord progression that you've probably heard of. There we have it. We've got 3 of our 5 chords being used so far. So we've got C major 9, D minor 9, G11, and then back to C major 9. Now, where could we use the diminished 7th chord? Well, between C and D, of course, because they're a tone apart. So we could play a C sharp diminished 7th. Okay, so C major 9, diminished 7th, C sharp diminished 7th. D minor 9. Then we move to our G11. And remember, I said we could use the dominant 7, sharp 5 to add more tension. So I'm going to play after the dominant 11 chord, dominant 7, sharp 5, a G, dominant 7, sharp 5. And then resolve back on the C. So now let's add a little bit of rhythm to it. And we've got the chord progression that you heard at the beginning of the video. Awesome, so we've made a really nice chord progression with the 5 chords being used in today's video. Now, if you want to learn how to turn a cool chord progression like this into a really, really awesome sounding neo-soul riff, make sure you check out this video that I recently made on neo-soul riffs. It's a 5-step process that's going to show you how to make a really awesome riff. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.